Hi everyone. Thank you for joining.
Hello.
Yes. So, welcome to the Kelp and ILA webinar that we conduct every month. And this month we have a very special topic for you all. Um, this will be live streamed and on LinkedIn as well. So, if any of you or your friends have missed out this webinar, please let them know that they can catch it on YouTube or on our LinkedIn. So, with that, I'll just begin a little bit of context setting for us today. So, firstly, thanking all of you for joining. You make these webinars special for us. So, thank you so much. And today's Kelp and ILA monthly webinar series has a very special topic. We are in October, November, and December seeing a lot of office parties, and then we will also be going on our off-sites. So, today's topic is something that talks about sexual harassment at these celebrations and office events. So, preventing sexual harassment at office celebrations and off-site events. Very timely, we wanted to bring it to you on some best practices, some practices what we are following to see how we are handling such cases, right? This is done in collaboration with Indian Lawyers Association and Kelp. So, a little bit about both of them. Indian Lawyers Association is a voluntary professional organization for legal professionals in India. It has been formed to shape the future of the legal profession across the country, and they're committed to creating opportunities for quality professional development, supporting the advancement of equality within the legal profession, and promoting speedy delivery of justice, facilitating law reforms, and also looking at the rule of law throughout India. So ILA also promotes exchange of information amongst its many chapters nationwide. Now, coming to Kelp, a little bit about us. Kelp is established in 2013. It is a forward-thinking organization committed to transforming workplaces into safe, happy, and inclusive environments. With a firm belief that employee well-being is integral to organizational success, Kelp strives to set new standards in practices of workplace safety and overall organizational performance. Kelp is a pioneer in simplifying the complexities of POSH, prevention of sexual harassment at workplace, and it also aims to demystify the often misunderstood domain of DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. We take pride in more than 1,000 satisfied clients across diverse industries throughout India, with a presence in 53 countries. And we are delivering sessions in around 15 languages over the past decade. So, with that, I'd like to introduce our today's panelists. We have also extra special panelist with us today in this session. So, with that, I'll just begin with introducing Vijay Lakshmi, who is the R&D director for Cloud DevOps at Aveva. She brings about 25 years of expertise in tech leadership, software quality and digital transformation, women in tech, a certified independent director, ESG expert, and the POSH presiding officer. She blends technical depth with governance excellence, recognized as an inspiring woman in technology. Vijay Lakshmi champions innovation, sustainability, and diversity. Her journey reflects a commitment to building safe and inclusive workplaces and driving impactful change in the tech industry. Thank you so much for joining us, Vijay Lakshmi. Thank you for agreeing to be a part of this.
Thank you.
We also have Mr. Subaraju Datla, who is a seasoned IT professional with over 11 years of experience helping organizations streamline business processes through SAP solutions. He has worked with leading global companies, guiding complex projects, and ensuring smooth digital transformations. Known for his collaborative approach and problem solving mindset, he's passionate about value driven solutions and enabling businesses to achieve operational excellence. Beyond his technical expertise, he is committed to continuous learning and fostering teamwork and making him a trusted partner in driving innovation and efficiency across diverse industries. He is the HR lead of NATCO Pharma Limited. So, welcome, Mr. Subbaraju.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Now, our third guest speaker today is Leena. Uh, Leena is a posh trainer and she has a background in legal practice at the Delhi District and High Courts and experience across sectors like technology, mobility, finance, healthcare, and media. She brings a deep practical understanding of workplace behavior and culture. She has an experience as a legal advisor over a decade of experience in legal advisory and workplace compliance. She specializes in sexual harassment prevention, training design, and as policy implementation. She is a POSH trainer and subject matter expert with Kelp, and she helps organizations build safe and inclusive workplaces herself. She serves as an EM across ICs in multiple organizations, guiding them on POSH Act compliance and case resolution. Welcome, Leena. Leena Sonbhadra works for us and at Kelp works at Kelp with us, and she is a very loving colleague that supports us in everything. And she's also coming with so much experience on legal understanding that it is an honor to have her on this panel today. Welcome,
Thank you,
Leena.
Meenakshi, for this introduction.
Yes. Um, Also, a little bit about me. I think finally I am delighted to be your moderator today. I am a lawyer, researcher, and workplace inclusion specialist with expertise in employment law, POSH compliance, and DEI strategy. Over the years, I have been working across corporate and development sectors, designing actionable workplace compliance systems and supporting organizations in building safe, inclusive cultures. At Kelp, I am also a person who is handling POSH cases, and I also create content on POSH. I focus on creating end-to-end compliance frameworks, including case investigations with sensitivity and fairness. My passion lies in fostering workplaces built on empathy, accountability, and respect, and I look forward to facilitating an engaging and insightful conversation today. With that, I would like to thank all of you also for joining this session. Without you, we would not have the loving audience and support that we keep getting every month from all of you. So, thank you everyone for joining, and thank you, Leena, Subbaraju, and Vijay Lakshmi for agreeing to be a part of today's discussion.
My
Now,
pleasure.
a little bit about today's topic. So, preventing sexual harassment at office celebrations and offsite events. So, why is this topic important, firstly? Why should we even talk about it? So, informal events are still part of the workplace under POSH Act, right? So, if company sponsored events are happening or you are going for an offsite, it comes under the definition of workplace for POSH Act. So we cannot say that this doesn't fall under the purview of workplace and we will not handle such cases because employees meet each other in work relations. And because of work relation, if they are meeting, then we will have to take cognizance and accountability and overall creating a happy and safe celebration for everyone is also a prerogative of the companies to bring that in, right? Now, what is the role of internal committee in these situations? So you have to extend awareness to beyond the workplace interactions as well, be approachable and proactive, and also handle complaints sensitively. What can companies do here? Make sure you have policies for events and alcohol use. We'll look at some best practices as we dwell into the session. And if you are an employee of any company, respect personal boundaries, consent matters, even in informal settings. So speak up or report if you are feeling uncomfortable with anything. And it's very, very, very important that we set our boundaries very strongly. And if somebody is not behaving well, we report the matter as soon as possible with all evidences recorded because it really helps in bringing that safety to your workplace. And enjoy responsibly, fun with boundaries. So, enjoy responsibly, avoid excessive alcohol consumption, and no jokes or comments that can offend people, communities, genders, or sexualities are fun for everyone. So if you the thumb rule that I follow is that if you're laughing with them or if you're laughing at them. So if you're laughing at somebody, it is never the right kind of approach for anything. Now we are going ahead and looking at some alcohol best practices. There are different ways that companies look at these alcohol policies. We will talk about it as we go ahead. Limit free flow alcohol. Make sure that people are enjoying in moderation. And if you have a zero alcohol policy, make sure that you are sticking to that rule. If alcohol is allowed, there are people who come up with beer and wine policies only, or they come up with strict one or two drinks only policy. So it's important that you do that and also arrange safe transport post such office sponsored celebrations and offsite events. And finally, your Posh Act scope. So this is something that's questioned a lot, that how much can we take into workplace, how much can we not. So we will be debating or dissecting that as well today. So workplaces include your office premises, events, celebrations, transport provided by your employer, etc. So, with that, let's begin today's discussion with all the fun that we have in front of us. How do we do that responsibly? So, my first question would be to Vijay Lakshmi. Um, Many people assume that POSH applies only in formal settings. So, how do we reinforce that POSH compliance extends to these offsite events or parties and informal gatherings?
Yeah, thanks for this question, Meenakshi. So, the POSH Act actually defines this workplace very explicitly, saying that it is not only the regular work premises that is covered, but it could be any other extended premises. It could involve a cafeteria, the cab facilities, the cabs that are provided to the employees, or it could be um, after our after working hours events that happen. It could be in resort or gathering team parties, or it could be at some employees' homes, some virtual parties. So it could, I mean, when I say virtual, obviously, after the pandemic, the hybrid mode has been introduced widely, and being on virtual calls is also considered as a workplace as per the POSH Act. So that said, given the scope of this workplace, it is it is definitely applicable for something beyond the regular, the standard offices or company premises that we are aware of. So it is a very, very wide premises, and anything that can happen, any unprofessional behavior, unwanted behavior that happens, which has a sexual impact, will definitely be coming under the purview. So it is not only the standard work premises, it is definitely beyond that.
Absolutely. I also believe that workplace definition extends to places where we meet our colleagues to maintain a work relationship. Now, we will look at that definition as we go forward. There are sometimes situations, however, which don't fall under the POSH scope. So, I want to just clarify that we are not saying every time if I am meeting a colleague who is like now really close to me and I am meeting them in a very personal capacity, it will come under POSH. It comes under POSH when we are meeting them to maintain work relations. When in 2025, we can't say that workplaces are you go to work, you work, and you come back. You are expected to build a team bonding. We are expected to have conversations with our colleagues. We are expected to be a team player. We are expected to engage with them socially as well. But how do we draw the line on how much is the company expecting them to socialize and how much are they personally choosing to socialize beyond the norm? So these are some things that we need to be mindful of. And while we demarcate the same, maybe something is not falling within the workplace, and maybe somebody had a very personal relationship and they got into a consensual relationship and something happened. Even in those scenarios, it is important that we bring them back and say that, okay, they are still part of this company. They are still having to face each other in the workplace. Can I take this through HR to make sure that they are feeling safe in the workplace? Because POSH Act also talks about prevention. So if we go into extremely technical interpretation of the law at all times, sometimes the essence of the law may be missed. Now, with that, I think a very wonderful answer, Vijaya, that you said that even like outside of the office, it's a wide scope. So, how do we look into that? So, I think that's really great that we have that thought process coming from people like you who are in senior positions. Now, my second question would be to Mr. Datla. How can organizations ensure the celebrations remain enjoyable while maintaining professionalism and respect?
Yeah. Yes, we need to have a key strategy for the organizations because we need to communicate the clearly the expectations. So, are you audible? Sorry, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we need to first communicate the expectations clearly. So what it should be there. So first, the derivation has to be taken. The pre-event code has to be given, and the policy also has to provide the zero tolerance. That has to be communicated to the people who will be involved in this events or the celebrations, whatever it is. And apart from this, we also should look into the other constraints like what about the logistics of the transport or the event where it has been taken? What are the pros and cons there, and how there will be an impact on the other individual? These all need to be considered in this.
Yes, absolutely. I think there should be a pre-communication, and sometimes we do ignore these communications if they come in a policy or a document. It's important that we even speak the communications out loud sometimes, because I remember when I was speaking to somebody last year about this situation of workplace. So they said they have a best practice that every time they send their persons on an offsite, they make people sign an undertaking stating that they will ensure a sexual harassment free workplace for everyone, and they'll make sure they maintain decorum. And even if you have a formal and informal differentiation in these spaces, are we still making sure that people are adhering to some amount of dress code regulations? I'm not saying we will go and moral police people for wearing casual clothes, but even in casual clothes, can we say that, hey, you need to dress professionally or make some what are these terms? I don't know, Lena would be able to input here. When we say casual, formal, or something, there are new terms that have come for dressing, which which are, correct me if I'm wrong, but those really help in setting up a tone that even when we are meeting casually, we are still meeting our colleagues. We still have to dress a certain way. We have to appear professionally. We have to maintain a certain kind of boundary. And what is that boundary? So, smart casuals, I think someone has brought it up in the chat, Dr. Sandhya Advani. Thank you so much for bringing that. I suddenly had like a brain freeze moment on that word. Um, so,
And
our next question is, where do you
um,
think the line lies between fun and inappropriate behavior in workplace settings? Sorry, Lena, you were saying something. I was going to ask you
yeah,
this.
I just wanted to add here something. See, the goal isn't to kill the vibe, all right? It is to create an environment where everyone can enjoy without worrying about uncomfortable situations later.
Absolutely.
Fun and professionalism can absolutely coexist.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will not kill the vibes, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
of
we
course.
would be to you. What do you think The line between fun and inappropriate behavior exists in workplaces.
See, and actually, the line is actually very simple, right? Fun is mutual, right? Inappropriate is when someone feels uncomfortable, right? If both people are enjoying the moment, laughing and comfortable, as you said earlier, laughing at or laughing with, right? Then that's fun. The moment one person feels uneasy, say, pressured or disrespected, it becomes inappropriate. Say, for example, I'll explain this with few examples here. Say, if two people are dancing together on the dance floor, it's fine, right? When it becomes inappropriate, when someone tries to move too close, yeah, or tries to touch someone with yeah, without checking if that person is okay with it, right? So what might sound casual, what might sound okay in other situation might not in the other situation. So we need to be a little mindful about that, how we behave in our workplace. We need to carry that behavior on the offsites also, when we are enjoying, when we are at a fun status, we need to be a little mindful of those things also, right? So this is how I think. I'll give you another example. Say friendly conversation over drinks, right? It's fine, it happens, right? When you are at a party, people do that. When it becomes inappropriate, when somebody tries to ask personal or sexual questions, right? Or even when somebody tries to pressure to drink more, right? So simple rule we need to remember is, if you're not sure, ask. And if you can't ask, please don't do it, right? And if at all they say no, stop immediately. That's the thing, I think, the thumb rule for it. Respecting boundaries keep all the parties enjoyable for everyone.
Absolutely. So, Vijaya, what would be your stance if,
Yeah.
I think, considering this, what would be your stance if a case comes through from your offsite or something? How would you handle it as a presiding officer? Would you say this is posh if people are meeting outside of workplace for a company's dinner or a team dinner, which is not sponsored by company, but maybe a team has done a really good project and they want to celebrate together, or my team wants to go and celebrate Diwali together and have a dinner at a nice place and maybe have some drinks also because it's Diwali, why not? So if that is the case and something happens there, would you take that case?
Yeah. Yes, Meenakshi. See, first of all, these celebrations are something generally for either team bonding or for some accomplishments. As you mentioned, we achieve a milestone, so we go for a dinner party. So when it is for fun, when it is for everyone to be happy, I think it is very important that we take care of how we behave and how we the words that we use, etc. So that said, obviously, if any case happens when somebody is has not behaved properly and it has resulted in um, sort of an unwelcomed behavior for the other party, which is sexual in nature, definitely it will be taken up by the IC. We will definitely pick it up as a IC complaint. Now, I also see relate this to one story which is very common. Some of us might have heard. I would like to quote that story and relate it to this context. See, once a person was walking on a busy street, and as a person was swinging his walking stick happily as he walked, another person noticed this. The stick was getting very close to people or other, animals that are around the street, and it could hurt someone by accident. Now, the second person speaks very kindly, saying, "Please don't swing your stick. You might hit someone." Now, the first person says, "It's my right. I feel free to swing my stick." Now, actually, it's your freedom to swing your stick, but also remember that your freedom ends where my nose begins, right? This is a very common, very popular old story. Now, as long as we all enjoy freedom, it's fine. Let's use our words, our mannerism, our behavior, our touches, or our the stares, everything similar to the way your walking stick should be used. It's a physical object. These are more uh, related to emotional, right? So we have to make sure that we are balancing this and we are very much cautious of what we are saying and behaving in a professional or any public place for that matter. So it all starts from there where we draw the boundaries.
Absolutely. Yes. Love it. I think I love the story and the little anecdote that came with it. Like the stick stops where the roar starts is something I think I'll never forget in my life. So thank you for that. Now coming to Mr. Subaraju, I had a question that whether like in situations where you have a Diwali celebration, say within the office, you are having something like that. So, what stance would you take as somebody who has HR understanding and people understanding? I remember you in our preliminary conversations classifying respondents into two types. One who does it a certain way and the other. Would you like to elaborate and bring it up for us here?
Yeah, Meenakshi. As I said earlier, see, there will be a very small line between the both types. See, everyone will have their own boundaries. So when there is a professional meeting or the professional celebrations that are going on, everyone should be known what their boundaries are and what they should do and what they should not do. If they, unless the other person unwelcome the event, there will be no issues with the celebrations or there will be no complaints. But when the other person has an unwelcome situation, that might be anything. Like let's take a Diwali celebrations. There are many Diwali celebrations are going on every year. So during the celebrations, a person might use a word which might not be accepted by the other person, where the issue starts.
Yes, absolutely. And I think there's also something that we take into regard intention, right? And because there are blurring of these professional and personal boundaries, oftentimes people don't intend, but still think that now it's casual environment, we can get away with anything, or maybe they think it's okay to ask these questions since we are no longer in an office. But they forget that you are still talking to a colleague that you're going to work with on Monday. So how are you going to take that forward? And there are sometimes people, do you think though, I would like to know you because you know people. So I would like to know from you all if there are actually people who intentionally cause harm because it is an offsite situation and they think they can get away with it because it is not in the workplace. Do you think that's where the most harm happens because suddenly nobody can catch you, no one's seeing you, it's tough to prove? So that's something I wanted to know.
Would I?
Yeah. See, this is the thing which we discussed in the which we discussed last time. Suppose let's take an example of two people who are working in the same office, like some department. So when both of them work together, the boundaries or the intention of the people will be professional, strictly professional. But when they go on for the celebrations, knowingly or unknowingly, they might know, or unknowingly also, they might question something which the other person feels that it's his personal matter. And as you said, there are some things where some people who intentionally question to take the answer because they have some other issues, because they will think that, okay, we are in the workplace, so if something happens, there will be a concern here. But when it goes to celebrations, it will be going on. But they have to understand that even it's the celebrations, it's equal to the workplace there, because where the other people who we are working with will be the same people there, but they are not the family members, they are the professional people. And tomorrow he has to work for 8 hours a day with the same person in future, right?
Meenakshi, could I?
See, the moment the environment becomes informal, yeah, professional guards go down.
Once again, Leena, Mr. Sundararajan, I would like you to put your comment on the chat for now. I will be coming to participants towards the last 15 minutes, if that's okay. I don't want you to hurt your hand. I see that you have a response to that. We will take that up.
I have an apt example. It's stated by a judge, so I will take it on later.
Okay, I will take that up right after Leena is back. Yeah,
Sure.
please go ahead, Leena.
Yeah, thank you so much. So what I was saying that when the professional guards go down, when they're, the moment the environment becomes little informal, right? And you add alcohol to that, the boundaries begin to blur. Suddenly, behavior that would never happen in an office starts happening on the, say, on the dance floor, or say near the bar counters. Somebody might start insisting, come on, don't be boring, just one more drink, things like that. Right?
Yeah.
So these may start harmlessly, but they can quickly cross lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can, this one thing I wanted to add to what you're saying before I forget, that you can take the people out of the workplace, but you can't take workplace out of them sometimes. You'll still have the power dynamic there. Your manager is still your manager, even if you're meeting outside. And if he's saying something and insisting something, and you cannot probably say no. So then, does the workplace take accountability for these situations? Because I've often seen quid pro quo situations where the manager is saying, do this with me. He come to dinner with me. He's taking the girl outside. And people are dismissing it, saying this is personal capacity. They met each other outside of work. We don't want to deal with it. But you're completely forgetting the power dynamic when you're not admitting that complaint. She is going because she's scared she'll lose her employment, right? How can we make that determination? Now, if a bunch of people are very close friends and they've decided to go to Lonavala over the weekend, maybe that's not something we will take up. But in situations like this, I think one of the chats has also that question. So in situations like these, how do we demarcate? Yeah. Nina, please continue. Sorry, I interrupted because I got passionate.
No, you can go ahead. I'm done.
Yeah. No, that's it. I think Mr. Sundararajan wanted to say something. Would you like to input that thing from the judge that you were mentioning earlier? Sir, you are on mute. Okay, I will
Is it okay now?
circle back. Yes, yes.
Yes. I was addressing about 600 people yesterday who are ICC and LCC members in Shimoga, far away from Bangalore. And one of the judge of that place, he was to preside over the function. So he gave a very interesting disposition on exactly on all the three of you have said that. He said the act could be accidental, incidental, or intended. So IC has to take a point. It's a very delicate issue, very thin borderline, but how will they decide? Was it accidental, incidental, or intended? So other impact forces, he says we will assess based on the impact of the touch, the impact of the action, how it has gone against the disreputation of the women or the man, both. He told further analysis, because as a judge he will do this. Impact is broken into two, important IMP and ACT. Important IMP, which act was most important and crucial to decide the act committed is totally wrong. So he gave a simple example. I'm giving a pen, and imagine a woman is giving a pen, I hold it like this. It's fine. But she's giving a pen, I hold it like this. Maybe accidental, maybe incidental, maybe intended. How do you see the intention? Does he repeat it or sing the hold of the hand? How did it embarrass the women? So the impact of the situation will decide whether it was incidental or it was intended or incidental. So like a doctor and a
Absolutely.
patient. Okay, I just want to add
Yes.
this. So therefore, impact analysis by the IC will really help. Was it intended or accidental or incidental? So even in a
Absolutely. I think
party, yeah, in a
I,
party, the jubilant mode is accepted, is
hmm.
as what you call Alina expressed. But did it that incidental moment of the party has it been taken advantage of for an intentional sexual harassment? Then it has to be addressed with the impact it has caused.
Absolutely. I really believe that impact and intent are some things that we need to consider when, especially POSH Act says impact matters, intent does not matter. Now, judges may determine because they have tools, like what Mr. Rajan mentioned, that they have tools on how to determine all this. Now, when we are having presiding officers, when we have internal committee, four of the people or three of the people are not legally trained, and often, more often than not, the entire IC is not legally trained. So instead of getting very legal, I think I'd like to simplify what was mentioned, that impact matters while admitting, but when you're giving your decision, intent needs to be considered. Because if the person didn't intend and there's a misunderstanding, don't go ahead and terminate them, because that might cause a lot of violation to the principles of natural justice there. Now, coming to Vijaya, I think my next question to you, because you talk about diversity and you talk about gender, how can companies make celebrations inclusive for companies and for employees who come from different cultures, genders, or beliefs? Because there is alcohol flowing, but maybe religiously I don't drink. There are probably five men drinking, and I probably will not feel comfortable sharing a drink there. And maybe I'll feel like I don't come from this culture where men drink. So, how do we, because right now this is an important question. We have four different generations working in the workplaces. So, how do we handle that?
Yeah, I mean, very well articulated question here, Meenakshi. See, the for all these celebrations or any other events conducted, I think the participation should come by choice. No one should feel obliged, to be there or to dance, or to come onto the stage. It should it should come on voluntary basis. If anyone is interested, let them go ahead and participate. So it's more of a platform where people who are interested can go ahead and participate. That's how it should be. So there should not be enforcement that everyone should be there and everyone should engage in these, like any of these events that are happening. And it could be, as you mentioned, alcohol consumption also. So there may be many people who are not comfortable being in that atmosphere late in the evening after 7 or 8 p.m. Could be a dinner party or could be a annual event. And if they are not comfortable being there, then at least there should be a room for them, flexibility for them to leave early by 7 or 7:30 before the alcohol distribution starts. And also, uh, I see in these events a lot of group pictures being taken, a lot of other interactions that happen, tagging on social media, and there is more uh, opportunities that get created for physical proximity during
Yeah,
multiple activities. Now, how do we conduct ourselves? How do we create that awareness? So, because there is an opportunity created, n- it's actually naturally created opportunity during this event. It is on the owners of an individual also to make sure that they are conducting professionally, right? Even if I'm pairing
absolutely.
up with you to dance, I should make sure that I just dance, I just do the steps, I don't indulge anything beyond that, right?
Yeah.
And also, I think while conducting uh, games or any group activities in these events, it is good to have a mixture of different varieties. Like it could be something like a recognition ceremony, a bit about volunteering events, or any wellness related uh, session. So it's a more of a holistic package rather than going only for cultural events or only for alcohol specific or dinner specific
Absolutely. Yes.
parties. So it also, as an participate as an invitee, everyone will have some stake in that. Okay,
Yeah.
fine, there is some well-being session, let me go for that. There is some cultural event, let me participate in this dance. So everyone has got some stake in that. So that also builds that inclusive atmosphere.
Absolutely. I think when we are talking about genders, there are also like different kinds of diversities. There are differently abled people. There are remote employees who might feel very excluded in these situations. So, how do we make them feel included in these celebrations that are happening? Or how do we include them in little communications? And there are non-drinkers who exist, and there are a lot of companies which just say simply that we don't want alcohol in the um, a mix, and I think it's a best practice. I really feel like allowing your employees to drink alcohol on offsites or events often creates a lot of issues. Or keep it a beer and wine policy that if somebody wants, they can drink one beer or one wine and enjoy. It's fine. But I believe personally that a zero tolerance to alcohol can be even put because celebration doesn't mean that you are limiting yourself to alcohol. Like Vijay Lakshmi rightly pointed it out, that it has to be more holistic than that. We can't just say because it's a party we have to drink. There are other ways to enjoy. A good meal can be enjoyed by everybody. A dance floor can be there, but maybe it's accessible by wheelchair. So we need to think about different ways in which we are including people from every community, every culture that is coming to the workplace, and they don't feel uncomfortable. And you can take a call based on your industry, based on your employees, based on what is their general age, right? So it really depends on individuals that you are working with. Now, I think one question to Mr. Subbaraju, and I would like to ask Vijay Lakshmi also the same. I think this is a very important one. How can leaders and HR members make sure that what are the best practices? What are the things that you have done? Bring us your information or like your secrets on how do you make sure that your workplace parties or workplace decorum is maintained even outside of work events. So, are there any best practices that you have followed?
Yeah, I mean, actually, see, whenever we'll be generally hosting events for the New Year or the Dasara, and as you said, some like type of Diwali and all those. So what we is first we clearly tell them what are the, that means we are having the training programs, we'll be conducting the training programs. In the training programs, we will be providing what to be done, what not to be done, and how the boundaries has to be established, and the thing how, if there is no intent, how the impact will be. We will be quoting some examples to the employees and all those who will be attending there, and we also clearly tell the we encourage the people who will be giving the inputs for the to take up the events. Because see, if you before in the before thing you quoted like cultural differences or some other things. When we are working in an organization, there will be people from different cultures, different age groups, as you said. So initially, it would be always to have a survey. So what, which will have a major impact on one's beliefs. So those need to be addressed and has to be moderated by the organizer during the event. This will help us to have a smooth and enjoyable event on the day.
Absolutely. I think the survey part is something I've never heard before. Like asking people what they want is actually the best thing to do. So, yeah, that's a good one. Thank you for that. Yes. Um, yes, Ms. Vijayalakshmi,
Yeah.
Vijayalakshmi, would you like to also bring in what are your trademark secrets that you follow to make sure that this
Yeah.
doesn't happen?
See, sometimes too much, even if it is, we call it as amritam, right? Too much of anything is a poison, right? And in this context, I think leadership and IC are more of enablers. I don't think they should be party policing. And we have to keep creating awareness, do a lot of refresh sessions to the different communities on different platforms, not necessarily only through the e-learning module or the annual mandatory courses, etc., or the posters, etc. There should be various other ways during team meetings or during town halls here and there highlight about uh, bringing that awareness about the act. And I think leaders also should model the responsible behavior in in front of the audience. And
Absolutely,
I
yes.
see that IC or HR, we quietly ensure there are safe logistics in place. For example, we spoke about alcohol consumption in these parties. So there has been an observation in the past years that after consumption, uh, there was no transport facilities provided. It could be 8 or 9 or 10 p.m. Now, there was one time when we introduced transportation only for women employees to return back home. Now, a thought came in, why only women employees? And majority of them are not drinking. And actually, it is men, majority of them who are consuming alcohol, and basically they also need to reach home safe and they can't drive. So we have also come up with a system where now cabs are provided after the celebrations events, after these events, for all the genders. So this is something where we make sure the logistics are safely provided for the employees, and also define those, keep talking about the boundaries and the consequences towards or through the awareness sessions. And I think it is us who have to um, play and set the example by participating in all these events responsibly, and respecting the boundaries that we lay, and also use various channels across the organizations in the teams to communicate this regularly, but not too much. Because I want to insist on this too much, because too much of anything always, it becomes overloaded and people will not, or will stop taking it seriously. Okay. Uh, if they come, they speak like that only. And that seriousness of the essence is lost. So we should
Mhm.
know the saturation point.
That's amazing. I think that's very well put, and it really brings us to like a good summarizing of whatever we discussed today. Before I let Lena bring up best practices from her end, I would like to highlight a comment that has come on the chat here from Savita, stating that in one of her organizations, they used to appoint volunteers who abstain from drinking, and these volunteers used to move around the party to keep a watch where things are going smooth or where there is potential of some mischief happening. So having these sober buddies, or I think that's a very amazing practice. And I also know that if you say no, and I was being idealistic by saying don't let them drink because I'm so tired of handling cases during this time. But jokes apart, I believe that if there is no alcohol, there's often people sneaking in their own alcohol in their own little bottles. And how do we control that, right? We can't control a lot of things. So having these sober buddies must be a good practice, and making sure you have representation on spot. Make sure they sign that undertaking before they come. Make sure they're aware and tell them that if you're consuming alcohol, have an alcohol policy. There are alcohol policies that companies have which talk about what kind of alcohol they're allowing to consume, how much they're allowing to consume, whose responsibility is it, how do we have a safe person there, is there an HR person present that people can reach out to in case they feel something is off. And of course, this sober buddies item is so good. Like, there are
Yeah.
actually people who don't drink who would really enjoy being a part of this activity also. So, Lena, over to you. Any best practices that you would want to give us from your case handling experience?
Yeah, most of them have covered. But yes, there is one more thing which I would like to add here is the uh, say the support of the IC also, the support of the IC and HR. Right. So I would suggest, and as a best practice, I have seen also is one of the organization, they are encouraging the visible IC presence, right? And also the follow-ups if something goes wrong. With IC presence, I mean if they, whenever they have a offsite party or events like that, they ensure that one of the IC members or as many possible are present in those parties, and sometimes they are like introduced also, sometimes they are not, they act as discreet ones, right? And this can have a it enables a discreet reporting also. So this is one of the practice which I have come across, and I really found it very amazing. So this is the one thing I think should be introduced, right? And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. Even discrete surveys after the
right.
parties, before, like Mr. Raju mentioned earlier, that we can do before. There can be also after some kind of what do you call measures taken, anonymous surveys that did you enjoy it? Did you struggle with anything? What are the problems? So I think with that, I would like to take up a question that has come in the chat. What if some guests misbehave or outside persons like the anchor or artist or somebody like that, and they are not the employee? So would anyone like to take this question up? If somebody outside of the organization, will that what do we do about that then?
Okay. Shall I go ahead?
Yes, yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. So before I go ahead, so what I understood is our employee has raised a complaint against an outsider who was part of the event. Could be
Yeah.
a cameraman or DJ or somebody. Yeah, that's it, right? So one thing is like we if they are related to an organization, then although we receive the complaint from our employee, now we have to connect to the IC of their organization and coordinate with them to conduct to take up the case forward. And if they are on their individual capabilities, they are present on their individual capabilities, they don't have an organization set up, or they have less than 10 employees, means they don't, that means they won't have their own IC. In that case, they can go to the local committee, which is constituted within the district. So that is where the IC can help the employee to register their complaint with the LC on the outsider, sorry, whoever has misbehaved.
Yes, absolutely. I think that really sums it up. And also, sometimes when the LC or some other things are not possible, what we can do is go ahead and help them file an FIR. I think,
Yeah, police
Dr.
complaint.
Sandhya, I wanted to bring that up too. Thank you so much for putting it in the chat. Yes, she has every right to go to the police, and she has right to assistance from the employer not from the internal committee, but your company needs to help them in filing these FIRs. And this is true to even posh cases. So even if a posh case is happening and a girl wants to go ahead and file an FIR in a criminal department as well along with it, let your employer provide support. Tell them, ask them if they need any help as IC members. If they need support, let somebody assist her and help her file this complaint. And posh case and police case can go side by side. It is, I think Dr. Suchitra has also mentioned now in the situation. And Swapnil has asked a question saying police can be part of IC member. No, police is not part of your internal committee. They have a separate responsibility to handle. And there is also a case that I wanted to bring here. It is State of Maharashtra versus Dilip Uttam Jayabhai. So in this particular case, the court held that even if somebody is acquitted of, I might not use verbatim legal language right now, I am just remembering this. So even if somebody is acquitted of criminal proceedings in the court of law, but if the company has taken a disciplinary action to terminate the person, it is still a valid decision. So we still need to consider it. So with that, I think
Can
it
I add
helps us
something
understand.
there? Meenakshi, can I
Yes.
add something there? What you mentioned
Yes,
about
please
the
go ahead.
judgment?
Yeah.
Okay, the standard of proof as far as a criminal complaint and a complaint of sexual harassment is different. Now, in a
Absolutely.
criminal complaint, the standard of proof is beyond reasonable doubt, which means it is a very stringent standard. If the evidence does not meet that standard, the court will acquit the person because of lack of evidence. Whereas in a complaint of sexual harassment, because it's a civil remedy, the standard of proof is a preponderance of evidence, like preponderance of probabilities. What is the probability it happened? So you could have an IC coming to a decision this person is guilty and terminating the services, even though the court has acquitted the person.
Absolutely. I think thank you so much, Dr. Sandhya, for bringing that in. The difference of burden of proof is something that we really need to take into consideration. And there is a big confusion in this. A lot of respondents do come to POSH inquiries and say she has not proven beyond reasonable doubt, because this is a word they have heard somewhere, read somewhere, and they will come up with this and say, what evidence does she have? Why has she come up and complained? So the preponderance is something that is very important. I'll share it. State of Maharashtra versus Dilip Uttam Jayabhai. With that, I think we are coming towards the end of our discussions today. So I would like to thank, first of all, our panelists, Vijayalakshmi and Subbaraju, for coming here and also enlightening us with your personal best practices and some thought processes around this. It's very important that people like you acknowledge that sexual harassment can happen in these formats. Thank you so much, Leena, for coming on board as a panelist, as a guest speaker, and bringing in legal perspective today. And thank you to all the participants and Dr. Sandhya, Mr. Sundararajan, and everyone who has inputted and brought in so much value to today's conversation. So with that, I will be closing today's discussions, but we are happy to engage further. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us at Kelp about this, and we are all very passionate about taking up these kind of situations. So I will definitely bring up the case study in the chat as well. And with that, I think thank you so much for joining. And there's a whole lot of conversation happening in the chat box. I would like you all to also point to that there is a question of whether police can be part of IC. And with POSH case, because we have a quasi-judicial authority, which means we are semi-court. We are not exactly a court. We look informal, but we do have some legal authorities that a court will have. We have some powers, which is summoning and other things. So we are a quasi-judicial authority. So our case can be separate from the other. So with
And
that,
moreover,
yeah,
we are civil court, and involvement of police will lead to the other side most of the time.
Great.
Yeah, so I've also provided case study, case reference in the chat. So I'm sorry if the spelling or the case name is here and there. It was straight out of memory. So, but yes, thank you everyone. I think even Dr. Suchitra, Indu, and all the people who have brought in the very wonderful comments and discussions to the chat. I think that is also very important for us to have. And I'm glad that we are also thinking about outside sexual harassment, and that got covered here. So, yes, see you again. We will not be doing an ILA webinar, ILA Kelp webinar next month, as December is the time we are all also on leaves. So, enjoy. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you next year, I guess, in January for our next webinar. And I hope that all of you keep coming to our sessions like this. And thank you to the panelists, all of you, and for this wonderful discussion and all the participants. Thank you. And it's lovely to see your faces.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much for this
Thank
Meenakshi.
you.
Thank you,
opportunity, Meenakshi.
everyone.
Nice
Thank you.
interactions. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Have a good day.
Okay, I'll be dropping off. Yes, Lena. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone. I'm also dropping off.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.